Howdy, everybody. I'm in my grandparents' garage. See that Harley right there? Oh, yeah. Now, I'm in the garage because, again, it's 7 a.m. and, I'm at my grandparents' lake house, so recording a bunch of noxious YouTube videos at 7 a.m. is probably not a good idea. So I'll sit here and try not to lean on my grandma's Cadillac. And let's talk. I guess the video kind of says what we're talking about. This is a bit of a spur of the moment thing. I can't get past how I keep finding things about physics and geometry and metaphysics and topology that make me understand more about the Bible. I mean, it is my understanding of the Tesseract and higher dimensional physics is what allowed me to become a Christian when I read the book of Ezekiel. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but metaphysics, y'all, the wheel within a wheel, it sounds like everybody wants, is it an angel or is it the structure of the atom? There's some debate to be had there. This morning, I was reading, trying to figure out more about the number of the beast. Everybody has this kind of, I just really have this intuition that this whole concept that 777 is the number of perfection and 666 is what it means. There has to be more to it than that. Okay, there has to be more to that. I don't know how many of you guys do this kind of stuff, but patterns repeat within resonance systems if the shoe fits. The things that are revealed within scripture aren't simple and cheesy like that. They're powerful and they knock your socks off in 10 different ways. So there is more to be understood about that number, for sure, and I've been trying to figure it out. And I don't like focusing on bad things in the Bible like that, but listen, the Bible doesn't say, "Here is wisdom. He who hath understanding, let him understand what it means to read the book of Lamentations." It says, "Here is wisdom. He who hath understanding, let him interpret the number of the beast." It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that I've answered to, and whatever. So, boy, I'm animated this morning. I'm supposed to be kayaking on the lake, but it's 60 degrees in Texas. It's humid. It sounds deadly. I'm going to wait a few hours. I've never been kayaking before, so I'm going to wait till it's a little warmer. Now, let's get this done quickly, okay? I'm going to talk about some physics stuff that may or may not make sense. But I have a really big point at the end that will definitely make sense to anybody that hears it. Okay. Time is a function of space. String theory is nonsense. Okay, now I'm gonna gloat a little bit here, but I read chaos theory in 8th grade. I don't know who's from the Humble area, Kingwood, Atascocita, but I was in long term. If you know what that is, I was in long term, and in my math class, I sat there and I read chaos theory. I brought it from home, but I only read it in that class because it was the boring class where I didn't like the teacher. Plus, I was good at math, so I never had any work to do. I don't know. Chaos theory just kind of tells me that string theory is not real, and we'll leave it at that. Because string theory wouldn't. It's not what this video is about. We do not live. People, science, physics, all the jerk-offs over at CERN right now, they love to tell you that we live in this multi-spatial, we live in this, there's 11 spatial dimensions, there's all this. No. Bullcrap. There's 3 spatial dimensions, and there's 1 temporal dimension, and there's nothing that exists beyond that. Okay? In the spirit realm, there's 3 spatial dimensions and 1 temporal dimension. Okay? In any reality, look, there's no such thing as reality. Reality is a simulation, and it's a simulation created by having three spatial dimensions and one temporal one. There is no such thing as any other kind of reality. It can't exist. Okay? You can have 6 spatial dimensions and 2 temporal ones. Guess what? It's going to follow the path of least resistance, Occam's razor. It's going to bump itself down into an apparent 3 in 1. You will never have more than 3 spatial dimensions. It is not possible. Okay? A 4th spatial dimension would have to be an amalgamation of one of those 2 superseding spatial dimensions. It's retarded. Okay? So, check it out. This is kind of a hypothesis, but how do we assert these things? Well, if you start getting deeper into metaphysics, let's look at the Mobius strip, okay? Who's familiar with the Mobius strip? You like topology? Okay. You take a Mobius strip and you cut it in half. What happens? It becomes one longer Mobius strip. For those of you who don't really understand what I'm saying here, I'll assume you know what a Mobius strip is. If you don't, go pause this video and go look it up, okay? If I take a loop of paper and cut it in half, it becomes 2 loops. But if I take a Mobius strip and cut it in half, it becomes a larger Mobius strip with twice the length. That's crazy. Now, if I move my cutting line 1/3 away from the edge of the Mobius strip, like I'm going to cut it into thirds, going all the way down, it ends up becoming one long Mobius strip with another one stuck around it that is half the length of the larger one. Now, this is also a hypothesis. I've got a lot of work to do. I only discovered this a couple of months ago, but I firmly believe that the trisection of a Mobius strip is the process by which time is created. Because think about it. When you have a Mobius strip, space is already just generated by that twist, okay? By the torsion. Torsion is what generates, look, we all know that reality is made from a toroid, right? What is a toroid? A toroid is the shape that is produced by torsion. That's why it's called a toroid. Torsion comes from the shape of a toroid. If you take a toroid and start spinning it, it will generate torsion. Okay, like it's just, I mean, what is an electromagnet? You know? Come on, guys. So, everything is generated by torsion, or the opposite of torsion. Still trying to wrap my head around it a bit. There has to be an opposing force that is equal to torsion. Otherwise, these stupid theories about stuff like antimatter have to be real. Antimatter probably does exist, but it's not the way you think. And dark energy definitely isn't real. It's retarded. It's retarded. It's retarded. So, whenever you trisect a Mobius strip, time comes out of nowhere. Because think about this. You have okay, I'll call it the 0.5 length and the full length Mobius strips. They're stuck on one another. That 0.5 length one now has this new function that never existed in reality before, whereby it can move around the Mobius strip that it's stuck on. I mean, look, this is the beauty of it all. What is a topological knot? The Mobius strip in its purest, I'm deep into metaphysics, right? So we've got Platonic metaphysics is the foundation with which we understand the world around us. You wouldn't have the Pythagorean theorem, you wouldn't have algebra, you wouldn't have calculus, you wouldn't have airplanes or rockets or this cell phone if it wasn't for the Platonic forms of the cube, the cylinder, the pyramid, and the sphere. I mean, it gets crazy right away, right? If you take a sphere and make it 4-dimensional, it becomes a spiral. But there is no 4th spatial dimension, remember? So, gosh, we keep conflating time and space. I'll get there. I'm trying. A topological knot is a Platonic form. You know, it's not a Platonic form, but it should be. Check it out. A topological knot, a knot is a system, a geometrical shape that cannot be broken. You can't like the trifold. Okay, you can't undo that pretzel twist without severing the reality that is the trinot, right? So the same thing happens when you trisect. I purport that that is a universe, a reality, a simulation. You were stuck in the trinot. You keep going straight forever, forever and ever and ever, on into infinity, the arrow of time. But the arrow of time very quickly ends up right back where it started. But you think you're still going forward. It is the illusion. Okay? A topological knot is the illusion. The Ouroboros, chasing your tail. Okay? And then within that, you become separate, opposing states like tree branches that think they're separate, and that's the yin yang. You and me think that we're separate, but no, we're part of the same knot. We're literally physically connected. I know that sounds silly, but that's why this is all simulation theory stuff. We'll get there. Eventually, I will convince you that you and I are physically connected in this world. Absolutely. It's just the parts of this world you don't have access to. In fact, that's where it gets confusing, because what I'm talking about here is extra spatial dimensions. But not really. It's beautiful. So, check it out. You can't break the form of a knot. That generates entropy. It generates this illusion of an arrow of time. But actually entropy doesn't exist. By going forward, you end up exactly where you started, and the egg is unscrambled now. But you don't see that. You stay in a simulation where the egg continues to cook. You can't go backwards through the knot. At least not spatially. Okay. There is a new topological system created whenever you trisect a Mobius strip and that 0.5 ring is stuck around the other. And the function that is created there is time, because in order to move that second ring around this larger ring, you have to pass through time. Now, this stuff might sound really trivial to you, especially if you consider yourself to be an educated person. Let me tell you something. When Niels Bohr discovered the structure of the atom, he said it came to him in a vision from God. And then everybody said, your stupid little ball vision metaphysical idea doesn't mean anything, bro. We're real scientists. But now we understand that we have the periodic table of elements, and we're able to control chemicals so well that we produce this cell phone that you're watching me. Laugh it up, buddy. The truth is the truth. So, yeah. All science has been based on metaphysics. Simple metaphysics, just like this, that people laugh at. So, go on. It's not trivial. But only the truly brilliant can recognize that. So, I'll end this with all that. Here's what I realized today. Upon reading about the number 600, 6, somewhere in an article, someone pointed out, one is the number of unity. Two is the number of division. There's day and night. There's the Old Testament and the New Testament. Whatever. I hear you, buddy. He says 3. 3 is the number of the Trinity. 3 is the number of this. But then he says time exists in 3 different ways. There's three different facets of time: past, present, and future. So this is what I want to leave everybody with. You exist in a spatial world where you can't go. Okay, time is abstract. You can't go into the past, the present, and the future at the same time. You got to pick one, right? But in the real world, in the physical world where space is, you have to be in X, Y, and Z at all times. Okay? So, think about this. I can think about geometry in my head, or I can write down sine equations for trigonometry on paper. Okay? I can move through space or I can reflect through time. Time is a reflection of space. It is a function of space. Time does not exist. Time only exists because you have a brain that records memories. And on your piece of paper, your memories and your predictions, your hypotheses, you're able to reflect onto the past and project into the future. Reflecting on the past is why you're depressed. Projecting into the future is why you are anxious. Live in the moment. Be happy. And understand there's more than meets the eye going on in this place. And we kind of need to figure it out. Glory to the Father. I'm going to finish my coffee. You know what? I'm not done yet. No. Because last night, I talked to someone who I care about very deeply. And she told me some things. I didn't even know this woman was a God-fearing woman. But the things that she said to me last night were things that I've never heard anybody else say. I mean, it's just wild. Think about this. What if all those assholes God killed in the flood, he wanted to give another chance? Anybody ever get the feeling that there's something wrong here? You ever seen that movie Island? There's this movie called Island where a bunch of dipshits end up on an island in white t-shirts and their memory's wiped. The premise of the movie is, hey guys, listen up. I just had a bad upbringing. You know, I'm just in self-defense mode. If I was able to be given another chance with a clean slate, I'd be able to prove that I'm not really a bad person. That it's just circumstance, you know? So all these people get their memory wiped and they go on this island like Survivor. And sure enough, lying, cheating, backstabbing, stealing, trying to get over on each other, Lord of the Flies type stuff. Illustrating that it doesn't freaking matter. You are a bad person, and no matter how many chances you get, you will always do bad things. Anybody ever get the feeling that's kind of what this place is? The world is our oyster, but everybody sits around trying to get over on one another. I kind of get the feeling that we're all a bunch of shitheads that were sent here for another chance. I tried to tell my sister about this, and she said, Aaron, I don't know. I don't think we live on a prison planet. I think God really loves us. And I'm like, have you read the Bible? This is a place that is going to be punished. The stars are going to fall from the sky and make this place turn into hell. A red dragon is going to swim down out of the waters of space and come down here and start eating your children. Okay? The Bible says that. And you want to tell me that this place is a paradise? No. It's doomed. And the people here are doomed along with it, except for those who choose to follow the one and only righteous path out. So, what's the point of life? To be happy? No. The point of life is to be a good person. Because this ain't life, y'all. This ain't life. You're an egg yolk right now. And you're not going to turn into a chicken. Unless you go with him. Okay? You're a caterpillar right now. And you're not going to get to be a butterfly unless you go into your cocoon. We live in a version of hell, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this is purgatory. I don't really get it. I don't really know. I still don't really understand the Bible. I understand the science a whole lot more. But the science and the Bible seem to keep supporting one another. Figure it out, y'all. Pray. Do whatever you got to do. But when you watch this video, I hope it gets to you. And I hope it's time for you to start realizing that you are living in a dream. And you're fucking off. This dream isn't pointless. You need to do everything you can here to get everything you can to help out before you wake up. Because it's up to you. When you wake up from this dream, are you going to a good place or a bad place? We talk about the laws of manifestation and all this. You really think that's how it works? It kind of is, but it ain't going to happen in this life, dude. You're not manifesting things in this life, dude. Otherwise, we'd all be holding hands kumbayaing by now. The fact of the matter is, we are all physically connected, and you don't get to manifest a reality for yourself. That pretty much guarantees you're going to be here when the comets come down and the stars come down and the fire starts, okay? If you actually have a heart, you will try to manifest a better reality for the people around you, for the people who are suffering, okay? And so I believe what is going to happen is there's a whole bunch of people called Jews, the real Jews, and we're going to hold hands and we are going to manifest a new reality following our King, Messiah Yeshua, the Hamashiach. We are going with him. And you're invited. I hope I see you there. Glory to the Father.